We used to be defined by limited information. We were pooled into sets and generic groupings, almost made invisible by these simplified categorizations. Media was a one-way stream. It was to us, but not about us. It was a world constrained by a trickle of meaningful personal data, defined by its limits rather than its potential. But this is no longer reality. Today, we define ourselves. 1.5 billion minds combining to do their mind work in an interconnected space that transcends definitions of space, time, and distance. It's vast, beautiful, and chaotic. Today, we're defining ourselves, inventing and reinventing new versions of ourselves, which in turn create vast new networks of relevance, essentially enabled by this ever more pervasive interconnected web. Our thoughts firing like synapses traveling at the speed of light. It's awesome. It's inspiring and empowering. It's the greatest dream we have ever dreamed, and we're living it. What we watch, what we join, what we share, who we know, what we buy, where we go, our likes and dislikes. These aren't random acts and facts, friends. They're self-defining choices with meaning. Our digital selves are literally expanding the idea of who and what we are. This is the shift, a magnetic evolutionary shift in human behavior and a bold new reality for us as people. A reality less about mass media and more about micro-meaning and instantaneous relevance. The question is, can you read our signals? Can you map our patterns? Can you actually learn the small things that bring meaning to our lives and delight us? If you can do that, it will change everything.
Changing everything, what we expect, what we hope, and what we dream. The shift is upon us, propelled by the power of the digital self. Today, digital marketing is all about reading signals, mapping patterns, learning from the conversation that is alive, that's unstructured and chaotic. We live and work in a reality that is defined by instantaneous relevance, meaning it has to matter right now, or it probably doesn't matter. So many signals, so much noise, all of this data. And while big data gets bigger, the details that matter, they're getting smaller. It's easy to get lost in it all. It doesn't have to be this way. The data in all of its forms paints the picture of who your customer really is. And within that lies the smaller, critical insights that drive success. This lets us rethink what's possible, taking signals and creating something special, something magical. It lets you express who you are as a brand, the values that drive you, to connect with real people, not people who reside in rows and columns and spreadsheets and databases, but real people with wants, desires, and needs. This is bigger than big data. It cuts across everything that we do on the web, in mobile, and social. Can you take those countless signals, these self-defining choices, and create something meaningful? And not just for one person, but for each of the 1.5 billion people who are online today, and for the next billion who are coming. And not just one time, but every time, and with every interaction. That's the power of the digital self. This tremendous idea that whether you are an advertiser, marketer, or publisher, it's the small things that bring meaning to every interaction and experience. This is what we're here to talk about today. I'm Brad Rencher. Welcome to Summit 2012. So thank you for joining us this year. We're here in Salt Lake. It's our 11th consecutive summit. And as one of the largest digital marketing conferences in the world, over the next 3 days, our conversations, your insights, and our Twitter feeds really will set the tone for the digital marketing industry. And we brought in leading minds like Ariana Huffington, Biz Stone, and other industry luminaries to help us drive this conversation. We also have coming on stage with me today, Grady Burnett from Facebook and Josh Cogswell from Viacom to share with you how their organization are managing these shifts. And we've got some amazing announcements and product demonstrations to show. If you look around the room, if you were here last year, you'll see that it's a little bit different. First, it's about twice the size. And as we think about what is it going to look like in the future, there are individuals in the room that are just getting a start in digital marketing, just here to learn and to engage, all the way to chief marketing officers who are already well down the path of how to transform their businesses with digital. We have 54 partners that are co-sponsoring Summit with us. It's also double last year. These partners are so critical to us and to you as we drive this industry forward. There's a reason why 4,000 people from all over the world have come to Salt Lake City in the middle of March. We know we need to come together to figure this out. And as I look through the registrations, a couple things jump out at me. First, there are titles that are in this room that didn't exist 5 years ago, much less a year ago. The role of a social strategist is alive and well. And it actually begs the question, whatever happened to the webmaster? Do you remember the webmaster? That guy that sat in the dark corner of the office that it was the know-it-all about the World Wide Web? The point is, that job description is now embedded in the job description of everyone in this room, that of the digital expert. And no matter your role, no matter your position, it's critical that you understand the power of the digital self. Because the digital self is shaping the future of marketing. It's the combination of all of the signals that we send out and share as we interact in the digital realm. And the more we interact, the more deposits that we make into the systems. And what we want, even more what we expect in return, is an experience tied to our individual interests. This is a contract that we hold with the consumer. And as marketers, we simply cannot violate it. Because at the end of the day, the consumer will be the judge of how well we do. Ultimately, I believe that we will be held to a higher standard by consumers than any privacy policy can. And we don't have to think too far ahead to realize that experiences are going to be more authentic, more individualized. We all crave it. Every time that we go to a website, we access a mobile application, we make a purchase, or we post something on social, we're sharing something about ourselves. And next, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to share with you what my digital self might look like. So here's my digital self based on my LinkedIn profile. See, there's me right in the middle, just so if you were wondering if it was really me. This is my profile, and what you'll see is the big blue blob. That's my digital marketing network. And what strikes you is I've completely compartmentalized my professional life. I don't let these people talk to one another. I've also got an investment banker network from a prior career. I've got another node that is from my 2-year mission to Korea, which my time in Korea also gave me an extreme liking of Korean barbecue, which Yelp can tell you, because every time I'm in a new city, I'm searching for Korean barbecue. Facebook will tell you that I'm married, I've got 3 kids. 2 of those kids are in spring training for Little League, and I'm the coach. So not only am I on Babe Ruth online looking at training videos for the team, I have now sequestered my predictive marketing team because I am going to bring Moneyball to Little League. Watch out. I'm sorry, son, you can't bat this inning. Delta knows that I check in for my Monday 6 a.m. flight to San Jose. Garmin.com knows that I logged over 3,000 cycling miles last year. I was preparing for a 206-mile race last September. Garmin will also tell you, based on my heart rate monitor and my performance, that I should probably start my training earlier this year. Spotify. Spotify knows my intimate feelings, how I'm feeling based on my music, when I'm happy, when I'm sad. And then it publishes it for everybody to see. I love technology. I'm just not sure my technology feels it. My Droid phone, lost it. iPhone, broke it. Next iPhone, lost it. I have managed to hold on to my iPad, where I'm currently reading Susan Cain's best-selling book on my Kindle app. So about this time, you're probably like, Brad, look, time out. Enough about you. And I agree. Enough about me. But the point is, all of you, if you look at your digital selves, it may be a little different, but the point is the same. We all share signals. We are all out there interacting in the digital realm. But any of these signals for me, taken in isolation, don't actually paint the true picture of who I am. In this case, well, on LinkedIn, I've got skeletons in my closet. Garmin, I'm a slacker. Spotify thinks I'm an emotional wreck. Apple Care is probably a good idea. And Amazon thinks I'm an introvert. So, and all this data, all those signals, which I willingly share, this creates my digital self. And at the end of the day, it's a pretty good snapshot of who I am. But the data that matters, it's the smaller things that can make or break an experience for me, feeling like it is just for me. It's for me, meant for me, and just not everybody else. In other words, personalized. And when I say personalization, I know there are many of you in the audience that are rolling your eyes, because this has been an industry concept that we have been talking about for 15 years. So what's different now? What's different is consumers now demand it. They've had a few good experiences. They've tasted the goodness. And because they demand it, it is an imperative for all of us. What's also different is, as an industry, we now have the infrastructure, the know-how, and the vision to execute on this. Because what's possible today just wasn't realistic before we had all of this. And what it comes down to is our relationship with technology has changed. You walk into a living room now and you see fingerprints on TVs, left by 3-year-olds trying to swipe them and interact. What it really means is the digital self has gone from academic to actionable. We have the ability to take action and to make personalization a reality. To make this happen, everyone in this room needs to understand data and content optimization. Data is the fabric. Content are the elements ready to be assembled. And optimization, it's the game changer. Let's talk about data. As we talk about data, whether it's first party, third party, or the after hours party, it's all the same. The data is the fabric. It's the underpinning of everything that we do. The dots that connect everything together. Data is at the very core of any digital marketing business, and I expect that it's paramount to you. And all of us who see the value and the power and possibilities of data tend to be the types who, when we put our heads down on the pillow at night, we dream in numbers. It's the scientific side of us. But if I can leave one thought with you about data, it is that data isn't actionable alone. It is only the left hand of digital marketers. The other side of this is content. Content is elemental, it's expressive, it's what brings the web to life. And as marketers, we're creating more content than ever before. It's exploding just as much as data. Content is what drives people to take action. Data is the enabler that amplifies your content in small but profound ways. To activate this, marketers must be able to deliver content in mere milliseconds. And the digital marketers that understand this, they're ripping out antiquated systems that do not scale and are putting in place, replatforming their entire digital infrastructure to deliver on this promise. But the real payoff is when optimization that brings together data and content. Optimization is the intelligence that allows us to deliver unique experiences to consumers that speak to them, that inspire them to act. Everyone who engages in digital is exposed to a message. But what if those messages were not generic? That they were tied to me and my individual interests? That's the power of optimization, when small things bring big, big meaning. It's this kind of optimization that activates return on investment. It drives a better experience of the individual. It allows for media dollars to be spent more efficiently and makes delivery of content as effective as possible. The combination of data, content, and optimization, where does it matter? It matters when the marketer can understand who I am by digging into the data, reading the signals, taking the content, and delivering an optimized, personalized experience. It matters when the advertiser reaches into the data field, grabs the data, grabs the content, and delivers an optimized advertisement. Where a publisher reads those data signals and not only delivers great content, but optimizes and matches the right content with the right audience. This is what Adobe is doing. This is our big vision. We've aligned our company around this opportunity. We believe it's just that big of an opportunity for all of us. Next, I want to bring out the man that's leading this vision. So please join me in welcoming CEO of Adobe, Shantanu Narayan.
Thanks, Brad. It's fun to learn about your digital self out here.
You learned something, yes?
Absolutely, all the time. And on behalf of Adobe, I'd also like to welcome everybody who's here today. It's great to see 4,000 people from around the world here. And you're in for a treat. I know Brad and his entire team have worked tirelessly to put together our entire innovation roadmap.
So Shantanu, we're going to do something a little bit different this year. We're going to do a little bit of a Q&A. And we've got some questions that we want to run through. And the first one is, we've been talking today already about the transformation that's taking place with advertisers and marketers and publishers. Can you start with telling us what's Adobe's role in this type of transformation?
Sure. Yeah, it's amazing. When you think about it and what's happening with digital, it's clear that digital represents tremendous opportunities, as you said, and challenges for everybody, whether you're in advertising or whether you're in publishing or whether you're in marketing. And frankly, I think the same is true for Adobe itself. Our vision has always been to change the world through digital experiences. But when we think about the possibilities for innovation right now, Brad, and what we can do, I think the possibilities are limitless. Let's just talk about publishing, for example. Just a year ago, we said we really need to change and not just focus on publishing on the desktop, but how do we think about the entire digital publishing workflow? And so we introduced this product called Digital Publishing Suite. And I think it's just such a tremendous opportunity for publishers because it's a do-over. It's a do-over on how they produce their content, how they monetize their content. And within the span of less than a year, we've had something like 600 publishers adopted. We've had 1,600 titles, I think the top 15 in the iStore. But what I think is most interesting is that these publishers are finding that customers are more likely to spend money online. They're spending more time, 70% more time sometimes with these digital publications. And so, technology can really help and will change how advertisers, marketers, and publishers think about stuff.
And you mentioned technology, and you said something when you were speaking on stage last year at Summit that at the time struck me as a little surprising. You said something about we need technology to get out of the way, which was interesting coming from the CEO of a technology company. So, how are we delivering on that? How's technology doing in getting out of the way?
Well, I think what I meant by that, Brad, was that technology is at its most powerful when it's not in your face. Right? It's an enabler. It enables you, if you're a marketer, to focus on what the ROI is for the campaign that you're thinking or what audience you wish to target. Or if you're a creative professional, how do you get your brand represented through the creative that you produce? And so I've always believed that technology is most powerful when it enables you, but it gets out of the way. I think as it relates to what we are doing in digital marketing, there are a couple of things that we need to do. Certainly we have a very extensive set of solutions right now with analytics and content management and what we are doing with Efficient Frontier. But I think it's incumbent on us really to do three things. The first is we have to integrate all of these different offerings. Much like we did with the Creative Suite, if we can make sure that this is a combined platform where it's all well integrated so our customers can focus on what they are trying to do, I think that really would be a huge step forward. And I know we're going to show some steps that Adobe is taking in that journey. But I think there are two other things that really represent for us advanced research that we should be focusing our time on. And the first is visualization. How do we bring this all together in a dashboard so that whoever the user is of all of this technology really finds it easy to use and actionable? And I think visualization is an area that we really have to continue to spend time so that technology is not in the way. And the second one I would say is predictive. We really have to move from just automation, and you talked a lot about automation in your introduction, to also moving it so that it's not just automation or optimization, but it's actually predictive. The system learns and it does things on your behalf, and so it's a continuous learning process.
And it's what the great thing is, we've got some stuff to show along those lines here in a few minutes. I did have a question. I know you're on the road a lot. You're in Europe, you're in Asia, you're in India, you're all over the world. You're visiting with customers. And as you are out there and you're talking to them, what are they concerned about? What are you hearing? And how do you see this playing out over the next 5, 10 years? What are the big trends?
I think the trends that we talk about here in this country, whether it's social or whether it's move to the cloud or mobile, I actually think those are the same trends that you hear everywhere you travel. I think the way it manifests itself and what's important is actually far more local. And it's only in your travels that you get an appreciation. You're in Korea and you just see the scale at which networks are being deployed or the amount of mobile devices are being created. And you recognize that the pace of innovation there is probably ahead of what we have even here in Utah or in Silicon Valley. And so you got to think about mobile devices and multiple screens far more front and center than you might here. Or when you go to India, there are new companies that are actually thinking about giving away tablets and making all of their money on advertising. And so, the cost of these transactions, given the volume of people, 1 billion people, has to be dramatically lower than it is even in the US. And so, I think the same mega trends, everybody's talking about it, everybody's excited about it, but it's clearly being implemented in different ways. And I think, again, it's incumbent on us to think global but act local.
And it's, as you think about, the particular geographies, whether that's India, China, Brazil, as you think about emerging countries versus growth economies, are there things that you think we need to be doing differently, that they're asking in terms of how they pay for services or what they do there that we should be thinking about?
I think so. I think in many ways, a lot of those customers recognize that this is the future. But they want us to be partners with them along in the journey. And so I think the easier we can make it for us to deploy our solutions and grow with them and the business models evolve, I think that's the question that we keep getting asked, which is they all believe, but they want us to start slow and grow with them.
Okay. Well, Shantanu, we're going to do something. We're going to shift gears.
Okay.
We're going to go maybe a little more People magazine, a little less Economist.
Okay.
And I want to do a bonus round, some hot topics, and I'm going to give you...
Is this your way of trying to get me to do my digital self or something?
Perhaps.
You do realize it's annual performance review coming up soon, Brad?
I might be sub-optimizing careers, but we're going to make this interesting. Okay. So I'll give you some words, and I'll give you, there'll be multiple choice, or I may give you a single word. On the single words, I need you to give me the first word that pops into your mind. Okay?
Okay.
You ready? Okay. Cricket or baseball?
Cricket. That was easy. That was a layup.
Okay.
Cricket is baseball done right.
All right. It only takes 4 days.
With no result.
And then it's a tie. Okay. Laptop or tablet?
Tablet.
Okay. This is one I need the first word that comes to your mind. Big data.
Adobe.
Well done. Very well done. Okay, another one word. Competition.
Internal.
Okay, meat or potatoes?
Potatoes. I'm a vegetarian, so that was an easy one too.
Okay, jock or geek?
Geek. Wanna be jock, but geek.
Okay, let's see, next one. Privacy.
Control.
So, okay. So let's pause on that one for a minute. This is one, we're talking a lot about the digital self. It's a hot topic in the industry. What are your views on privacy?
Well, I think, let me put myself as a consumer. And I think as a consumer, what I really want to do is when I go to the website or when I go online, I want a personalized experience. And I think in many ways, I actually get frustrated when I keep going to websites and they haven't learned about me or they don't know what's relevant for me. But I think as it relates, and so we as a company have to make sure that we can enable websites, publishers, advertisers to provide that personalized, relevant experience. At the same time, the reason I think I said control was that we have to make consumers be in control of what they are willing to share and are not willing to share. And I think we have to take a leadership role of making sure that we are really cognizant of what is being captured, and it's all with the explicit approval of the consumer.
Okay. So I want to get back to People Magazine. Okay, we're back to a few more. Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Be careful on this one. Facebook or Twitter?
Can you say both?
You can if you want. This is your show. Okay, you're going to go with both?
Both?
Okay. Stanford or Cal?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Cal. I think the reason he asked me that was my son's going to Stanford and I went to Cal, so that's why.
Okay, this is, you're a big golfer. This is up your alley. Caddyshack or Happy Gilmore?
Caddyshack.
That's classic. All right. Next one, design or data?
Design.
Okay. Okay, next one, last book you bought?
The name of the book?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a book called The 5 Mistakes I Made.
Okay. Latest gadget you bought?
A tablet.
Last company you bought?
Efficient Frontier.
Good. Okay. These are now last two lightning round topics. Shantanu.
Narayan. No. Driven.
Okay. Last one. Adobe.
Innovate.
Good. Okay. So now I want to do a couple, I think several of you or many of you submitted questions via Twitter. There was an Ask Shantanu hashtag. So we've got a couple of these that I want to go through, Shantanu. So has the, first one, has the Omniture acquisition met your expectations so far?
Whenever I think about the Omniture acquisition, the first thing honestly that comes to mind is the day of the closing. And with every acquisition, as you know, Brad, there's a little last-minute drama that happens. And there's drama associated with the deal, but in that particular case, there's actually more drama associated at home because my son was heading off to college, and that's a very emotional thing. And my wife was wondering why I was spending so much time at work. And I kept telling my wife, he's going to Stanford. It's 5 minutes away. But I still remember that. He just turned 21. So I guess he came of age and the future's bright. And maybe, the same is true of Adobe and Omniture. In all seriousness, we look at it and we had embarked on a strategy to say, how do we really focus on the entire content lifecycle, right? Everything to do with content creation, content management, content measurement, content mobilization, and it's clear that Omniture was a really big strategic move in making that vision come to life. We have been absolutely thrilled. We've got great people, great technology. The business has done really well. And frankly, a lot of the people who were scratching their heads a little bit up front, now as we've put together the combination of Omniture and Day and Demdex and Efficient Frontier and delivered on the digital marketing suite, really sort of are welcoming Adobe to play a bigger role in this space. So it's been great.
Good. Well, I'm glad you said that. I was worried you were going to say no, and it was a leadership issue, and it was going to be a long day for me. So next question. Does Adobe.com use the digital marketing suite? And if so, which products does your team use the most?
Okay. Well, I think Ann Lunas, who's our head of marketing and would sit here, sits in front, says, we use every single Adobe product. And I actually think that's a characterization of how we do things at Adobe. You have to, whether you call it eating your own dog food or sipping your own champagne, that's something that's really important to us. But you know this. We use Site Catalyst for doing all of the core measurement and understanding what our customers want. We're certainly using a lot more of Test and Target to understand, how we offer different things for our customers, and our digital spend is up to 70%. So I think, we spend 70% of all marketing on digital, and we're making sure that we use that. Day is the content repository and infrastructure for all of our, not just our core website, but what's happening on mobile. We make it a point of, we are not going to go, whether you call it general GM or RC on a product, unless we're using it internally. And so whether that's Acrobat or whether that's our digital marketing suite, we have to be a real showcase for using our technology. There's never a chance where we should be having customers use it before we can stand up and say we've used it ourselves.
Great. So last Twitter question. Considering recent Adobe advancements, are we to expect most of the work designers to do today to be automated in the future?
I don't think there'll ever be, a replacement for the human mind and aesthetics and design and a judgment. And so, no, I think the tools get better and better and allow you to deliver the kind of experience, digital experience that you want. But I'm a firm believer in the human mind, and I don't think there's anything. Technology can help, it cannot replace.
Perfect. So it is about technology helping. We can help them be better, but it's not not a replacement. Okay. So I've got one last question, Shantanu. So you are betting the future of Adobe on digital marketing, the content creation process, bringing these integrated workflows together. How will you personally measure whether this transformation is a success?
That's a good question. I guess if we are able to say all marketing is digital marketing, then we know that we've made a difference. And it's a really exciting time, Brad. I'm thrilled with the leadership that Brad's been providing in making us, deliver on this vision of digital marketing. I think you're going to see a huge amount of innovation up ahead. We've been working on that. We hope you like it as much as I know we've taken the initiative to deliver it for you. And with that, maybe, we can get on with the show, Brad.
Great, let's get going.
Thanks for having me.
Shantanu.
Thanks.
So we have been busy. We've been making huge advancements in our software, and I'm excited to share some of these with you today. Because our engineers on Site Catalyst, on Test and Target, on Insight, on CQ, on Efficient Frontier and Context Optional, Discover, Survey, all of our products, their engineers and the entire digital marketing suite have been hard at work. We understand that the digital self doesn't live in a single product or a single channel, and neither should your solutions or your marketing. We're focused on how all of these products come together. We know that that's what you need from Adobe, an integrated digital marketing platform. Today, we'll show you a few demonstrations that illustrate how our leading product portfolio is combining to build the workflows that you need. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to focus on 4 areas: building personalized experiences, managing your digital advertising, solving the publishing problem, and cracking the code on social marketing. For personalized experiences, we'll talk about removing the wall between data, content management, and analytics. For advertising, we will show how to simplify multi-channel campaign execution by eliminating the barriers that exist between search, display, social, and other advertising channels. And for publishing, we'll hit on how to remove the silos between on-air and online, to show you how you can take ads, publishing, to deliver custom content. And for social marketing, we will show you how to tear down the walls that exist between ads, publishing, engagement, and measuring business impact. But what's underlying each of these 4 areas and everything that we do is analytics. It's the core of the business. It's the key to bringing all this together. Analytics is the baseline. Analytics, yes, it's big data. More importantly, it's living data. And then with living data, real-time analytics is a must. Because analytics is the fabric for everything we're about to show, because that's what's transformed businesses for the last 15 years. You just look back at some of the cutting-edge marketing research that was being done in the 1990s. At leading universities, we went and looked at PhD marketing dissertations from that era. And they were titled things like brand concept strategies for international markets, promoting brand loyalty, concepts and strategies, and my favorite, which is the impact of identical brand names on the strength of new brands and original brands, a study of brand appropriation and dilution. You get the idea. Today, marketing dissertation titles read something more like this: data augmentation for latent variables in marketing, spatial temporal data analytics and consumer shopping behavior modeling, and analysis of data mining techniques for customer segmentation and predictive modeling, a case study. Clearly, it's a different time in marketing. And some might say that marketing is getting smarter. People are switching industries and bringing new disciplines to marketing. In fact, the co-founder and chief technology officer of Efficient Frontier, Anil Kamath, left a hedge fund where he was an algorithmic trader to found Efficient Frontier and bring that same discipline and methodology to media buying. And he's here, and if any of you are lucky enough to catch him at a cocktail party, go ahead and ask him what he does and how he does it. Good luck understanding. My advice, nod and smile. These new disciplines and the new blood that are coming into marketing are breathing new life, because your entire marketing strategy relies on real-time analytics, coupled with the depth and breadth of data that gives you the ability to take action. For this, we need to shorten the distance between analytics and what shows up for the customer. This is the first step to using analytics to drive personalized experiences. Our foundation in real-time analytics, combined with our content management platforms, makes this possible. To this end, I am excited to make a few announcements from some of our most innovative products within the digital marketing suite. First, I'm pleased to announce Adobe's predictive marketing solution. Adobe's predictive marketing solution reduces the complexity of getting into the data, uncovering hidden patterns, finding those gems that will literally predict what's going to happen next, and do so with an unprecedented degree of confidence. You'll see this today and over the course of the next few days in our solutions. Second, I'm excited to announce the release of Adobe CQ 5.5, the latest in web experience management. With this new release, we revolutionize how digital marketers can take visitor profile data, targeting rules, and predictive marketing from the digital marketing suite. Integrating these components together, you can transform traditional web content management from being a static brand marketing channel to become a dynamic demand generation engine. Third, Discover 3. The suite's progressive analytics and segmentation solution can now offer a cross-visit view of a user experience by connecting data from multiple visits. To show how these products work together within the digital marketing suite, I've got my Director of Integrated Solutions, who is an avid outdoor and ski enthusiast, and also a connoisseur of Hostess baked goods, Steve Hammond.
Thank you, Brad.
Have at it.
Thank you very much. So Twinkies, that's kind of funny, Brad. Thank you very much. All right, today I'm very excited to share with you two exciting new technologies that deliver personalization through the combination of data, content, and optimization. We're going to start here inside of Discover. This is a new interface for Discover 3. It's fabulous because we have new controls in the interface, and behind the scenes we have new power through the data. To make this fun, I'm going to go into one of the reports that hopefully some of you have seen in the past. This is a report that allows us to be able to visualize how people navigate through our site and experience. Now what I'm going to do is put a new lens on this. Inside of Discover, what we've taken is the capability of being able to see how people flow between different pages on the site. As you can see here, people going from the home page and the shopping cart pages and back. This is a great visualization that helps us to be able to see the patterns of behavior. Now to take this to the next level, the Discover team has taken any variable in the system, anything, and you can apply this level of flow analysis to things like, for example, marketing campaigns. So let me go ahead and come up and grab our marketing campaigns. Can't spell here very well. There we go. So I'm going to grab my marketing channels, pull this down on the report here, and behind the scenes, we've got a number of servers that are crunching against thousands and thousands of rows of data, millions of different combinations of attributes. It's going to come back and show me now for the first time how visitors are interacting across different marketing channels. So for example, here at the top, we can see our marketing channels from email campaigns. As we look down from that, we can see, let me just bring the arrows up a little bit more visual here. We can see the flow analysis between our marketing channel of email campaigns into social media. Now the interesting thing about this is if you think about your marketing organization, oftentimes the question comes up, which of our channels should get credit for this? As we can see here, multiple channels are actually interacting with the different ways that our customers are coming to and from our sites. So social, email, display, our customers are interacting across all these different channels. Now to get into some details, I would suggest you go to one of the breakout sessions. You'll see a lot more about this. But what I want to do now is show how we can take this kind of data, this kind of cross-visit data from a flow analysis and apply this to market segments to make decisions around how to create better personalized experiences. Inside of Discover, you'll notice up in the top left there, it says females 25 to 30 years old. These are people who have registered on the site and decided to share their information with us. I'm going to apply this market segment to this analysis. There we go, up here at the top. And it's going to rerun the data, filter it down, and show me specifically how this market segment is responding to my marketing campaigns. It comes back here. I'm going to go to a slightly different aerial view. And I'm going to go ahead and compare this channel to my male segment of 55 to 60-year-old. And this is another new feature of Discover. Pull these down side by side. And we can see the comparative analysis here of my male segment on the right side, my female segment on the left side. And we can see that these are completely different interactions across the marketing channels. Just to point this out a little bit, we can see our social campaigns for females is up here in the top middle. I'll zoom in on that just so you can see it here. And then for the male category, it's actually down in the bottom left of the screen. What this points out to us is that when we look at our different market segments, they have different interactions. Our audiences expect different experiences. They expect different personalization. And this applies to the site, but also off the site in advertising. And we'll see a little bit more of this later. What I want you to do is pay attention to these market segments that I've pointed out here. The female category of 25 to 30-year-old and the male category of 55 to 60, because you'll continue to see this theme throughout the rest of the presentations. So first of all, before I move on, let's give a hand to our Discover team for this great work they've done. It's very exciting stuff. All right, so Brad mentioned earlier the ability for us to be able to now create personalization across experiences. I want to introduce to you CQ55. This is the new interface that ties together web content management with a digital marketing suite to create web experience management. Brad mentioned this word earlier, web experience management. This is a combination of data and optimization with content to drive experiences. We've actually connected into the digital marketing suite a lot of different services. We've got Scene 7, Search and Promote, Site Catalyst, Test and Target. We also have Auditude and a few others as well, Audience Manager. And we'll see some of those later on. I want to switch gears and go over to what the marketer is interacting with when they get into this web experience management tool. This is the interface. It looks a lot like a website, and it's designed that way to make it so that if you're managing your site, you can do it in a very visual way. You can see what the experience is going to look like for the end user. I want to point out that on the left side here, we have things like our images and content. I can literally drag and drop those on the screen. On the right side, we have different components, search components, image components, video components. Again, drag and drop experience. I can see exactly how this is going to all come together. What I really want to point out, though, is that we've integrated, again, the digital marketing suite, the combination of data and optimization to create experience. So to kind of show how this works, I'm going to grab an Mbox. An Mbox is a marketing region where I can test content, where I can create experiences through decisions on the back end. So I'm going to pull an Mbox down on the screen here, drag and drop. I don't have to know any code to do this. And you'll see here that I now have an Mbox at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go in here and just give this a quick name here. So just paste that in there. And I'm going to go into preview mode so we can see the results of this. Now, before I do this, down in the bottom left side of the screen, we have a region for gear. What I want to show in this region are recommendations, products that we should be serving to individuals based upon the data as they interact across our site. Things like people who viewed this also viewed, or people who bought this also bought. So I'm going to go ahead and go into preview mode here. It refreshes the page and brings in that product recommendations. It's tied together the data behind the scene with the experience. That's pretty cool. There's a lot more going on the screen here, though. We have a banner at the top of the screen. We have an article in the middle and the bottom of the screen. Pay attention to these two areas because what I'm going to show you brings this all to life. Inside of CQ, we've got a new window into the digital marketing suite. This window allows us to be able to see the data profiles that we have about end users. This little window, as you see up here, top left of the screen, this is literally how we can see the data that we're capturing through analytics and apply it to the personalization across the site. This is the first time that any of us have really been able to do this across the Adobe products, and it's very exciting. So this particular user we see here is anonymous. This is standard. If you think about the first time people come to your site, we don't really know a lot about them. But with little amounts of data, we can start to create personalized experiences. For example, as we look down here, we see geography. This system has discovered, based on my IP address, that I'm here in Salt Lake City, Utah, where it's a little colder, and you can see up in the top of the screen a banner that is showing me imagery and articles, that different products that I can buy that are specific to my region. It's cold outside. Actually, at Sundance just a few days ago, 37 inches of new snow. Pretty cool stuff. Looking forward to Friday, by the way. So, using this little amount of data of just geography, I can go through and start to create better experiences for users. Someone who's coming to my site from a warmer climate should have a different experience. So I'm going to take this user, move them over to California. Now pay attention here. This is pretty cool. Watch the banner and the article. It's going to be completely customized just based on this little amount of data and this visualization. So now we have a completely different experience. Isn't that cool? So this is very interesting, but as we look at data, it's about extending that data, dialing it in based on what people decide to share with us. As Shantanu mentioned earlier, it's about giving people control. So Adobe's taken the stance that as people opt into data, we can extend their experience for them. So that segment we talked about earlier, that 25 to 30-year-old female, if that individual has come through to the site and opted in to share either through a registration form or through a social connection, a little bit more information to give us a better, or to help them to get a better experience on the site, then we can have a better experience. That segment we talked about earlier, 25 to 30-year-old female, this experience on the screen here doesn't really suit that individual. As I click through on this though, notice again the banner here and the geographic location, completely update based on a female who's in a much different category here. So this actually showed ski goggles, so that was interesting, but let me go ahead and show you something differently. What this has gone through and done here is it's shown me also some products in a different category, and I want to jump right into that as well. So as I come through into the site and search for something, I'm going to go ahead and pick something different than ski goggles here. I'm going to start to show different behavior on the site based on the different products I look at. So in this case, I want to come through and look at some skis here. These skis, the search results I just showed there, completely driven based on our search and promote system with full faceted search. Also, once someone comes into a product, we want to be able to give them the best possible experience we can. So in this case here, I want to see some details about these boots. And using our dynamic imaging system, we can come in and get really clear details. So clicking through here, you'll see, as I zoom in on this, you would expect pixelization, but it's completely re-rendering this image over and over again, so I can come through and see really clear details in an image like this. Now, I've shown through my behavior that I'm starting to express interest in a different kind of product here. So as I go back to the home page, what I want to be able to do is tie together the products that I've looked at along with the experience that I'm trying to drive. So we saw this before with the ski goggles and with the personalization. Now you can see that this is automatically re-rendering that banner on the home screen with a new product that I've shown interest in, and we're starting to tie together again the data that we understand someone's behavior, some personalization around what they're searching for on the site with dynamic imaging. This banner, by the way, is completely driven by a template. The image on the right side is being pulled in from a library of images. The message on the screen is being pulled together automatically, and it's all being driven by this combination of data, content, and optimization. Adobe is uniquely positioned to be able to provide these solutions with the Creative Suite, with our web experience management products, and with the data engines we have. This is very exciting. We're excited to be part of this, and we're excited to be working with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. It was great. We all know that personalization of sites and mobile experience is what we need. But we also need to take this capability and extend this in to make advertising more effective and efficient. Advertising campaigns must extend beyond a single channel. There is not one of your customers who lives in a single channel. The solutions need to go there as well. Advertisers have to be able to operate in a multi-channel environment and run campaigns across email, mobile, video, as well as search, display, and social. This means you not only need to understand how you're allocating your ad budgets, but also where those ad budgets will be most effective and efficient and what the return will be. I want to show you our new advertising platform. This platform takes the digital marketing suite and helps complete that, and it takes technology from Efficient Frontier and combines that with other technology assets within Adobe. What you get in a unified way is the ability to manage and optimize campaigns across search, display, and social. But what's really impressive is this platform can model and predict the impact of changes in your spend or campaign goals and recommend the most efficient outcome. Here to provide a closer look at this industry-leading solution is Adobe's Director of New Product Innovation, who, like me, is a cyclist. Last year did the Tope de Tour, which is a stage 9 Tour de France race, so he has some street cred. Justin Miracle. It's all you. Good job.
All right, so we have looked at how we're addressing personas with personalized content. And now we really have to figure out how we drive additional traffic or additional consumers to our site that fit those personas. So in the world of Adobe, we now think about advertising in the sense of a portfolio. So what's a portfolio? For us, a portfolio is a combination of your budget, how much can I spend, your goals, what do I want to achieve? In the case of geometrics, it's likely product sales. And then those campaign elements that are actually going to reach and bring in those personas that you want to address. So in search, that's all those relevant keywords. In display, it's the audience segments that you want to reach. And in social, it's the interest segments that you want to get. So with that, I want to dive into our system and give you a look at a live demo. So imagine I'm a campaign manager, marketing manager at Geometrics. I am using the digital marketing suite to manage my campaigns across search, and I'm using the system to manage campaigns across Google, across Microsoft, maybe international engines like Baidu. I'm using the system to also manage campaigns in the biddable display markets, so places like Google's Ad Exchange, Yahoo's Right Media, real-time bidding marketplaces like Rubicon Project. So I can do all of that within the platform. I can also manage my social campaigns. So big social networks like Facebook, LinkedIn. We'll soon have Twitter added into the platform. And I'm able to come in and not just manage those campaigns, but also track performance. How much am I spending? Sorry about that. How much am I spending? How much traffic am I driving? What do trends look like on a week-over-week or month-over-month basis? What's the composition of my spend between search and social? So I can do all of that within the system. But that's not really where the true power of our system lies. The true power of the system lies in the portfolios. So let me go into the portfolios and give you a taste of what happens there. So I want to set up a scenario. And the scenario is that the Geometrics CEO feels like he's getting good traction in the younger female segment. So he comes to you, the marketing manager, marketing director, and says, hey, I want to get 100 more sales a day in that younger female segment. Can you deliver that for me? Well, historically, that's been a tough question to answer. How much is it going to take? How do I go about that? Well, what I can do in the system is come in, I can look at that younger female set of portfolios that I've got and actually run a simulation that's going to provide a very accurate answer to that question. So I come in, I'm actually going to run a simulation for revenue or sales, and it's going to show me a curve. Now this curve represents the potential of my advertising campaign, in this case for search. So I see where I am today. Today I'm spending about $3,800, and it should be right about here, and I'm getting about 390 sales. So he's asked me to get 100 more sales a day. So let's see if I can do that, right? I'm going to come up the curve. All right, here I am. It's going to take me about $9,800. I'm spending $3,800 today. So I can get you there, Mr. CEO, but it's going to take you $6,000 in additional marketing budget a day to get it there. Are you able to provide me that budget? All right, but I actually want to empower this marketing manager to be even smarter about what he goes to the CEO and asks for. So I'm going to go back into our portfolio and show you another aspect of the system, and that's called spend recommendation. So I've just said I need $180,000 more a month to deliver the result that my CEO has asked for. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to set my objective to orders, I'm going to select the portfolios targeting that younger women demographic, and I'm going to run a distribution. Kind of similar to what you've seen before. But now, instead of just looking at kind of spend distribution, what I want to say is, I have $180,000 more to spend. How should I allocate that budget across the channels that I can run? So search, and here it's saying allocate about 58% of your budget to search, allocate about 25% of your budget to social, and allocate about 17% of your budget to display. So again, I have options on where I want to spend that budget to meet that 100 sales a day that my CEO has asked for. I can both see what budget I need, $180,000, and also ask the system to help me allocate that across channels to get the best effect and strongest ROI I can. And that's really the power of the system. So when we go back and we think about those personas that we've heard about, we can now set up our campaigns, we can run them across search, display, and social, and we'll actually end up with likely a very different mix across channels depending on what that persona looks like. The older male that's our core customer versus the younger female that may be that growing segment. So with that, there will be more details during the course of the conference, and feel free to reach out to anybody on the Digital Marketing Suite side, and we'd love to discuss this further, and I'll turn it back to Brad. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Stefan.
So campaign optimization, budget allocation, and predictive modeling in a world without barriers. Being able to place your ad dollars where they make the most sense only works if you can ensure that the right people see the right advertisements. Come on, that's just cool. These are the levers that we can pull to drive our business. And throughout the year, you're going to continue to see investments from Adobe in this area with continued integration into the digital marketing suite. We believe that we will be the standard for how digital marketing is managed and executed. Now, on the other side of the coin are publishers. Publishers are looking to distribute content and maximize revenue they generate from that content. That means you have to be able to analyze data quickly, to be able to accurately predict who your audience is so you can effectively sell that. Our leadership in digital publishing puts Adobe in a great position to provide these solutions. And to break this down a little bit more, I have invited Josh Cogswell, who is Senior Vice President of Digital Product from Viacom, one of the largest media conglomerates in the world, to share his view of how digital publishing is framing out. Josh heads strategy and operations for Viacom and manages solutions serving advertising, research metrics, and search engine optimization. Now, in a little known fact, before Josh became a piano performance major in college, he ranked in the top 8 young pianists in California. And in even a littler known fact, his great-grandfather was the mayor of Munchkinland in the original production of The Wizard of Oz. Celebrity in the house, right here. So clearly Josh's musical and entertainment roots run deep, and he's doing that now at Viacom, and we're looking forward to hearing his insights. So please welcome Josh to the stage. So, Josh, you're too tall for a munchkin.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it?
Okay. All right. So thanks for being here. We're excited. We're excited to have Viacom, one of the largest media companies there, and everyone knows Viacom. You guys have some of the best content in the world, from Jersey Shore to SpongeBob.
Right.
Clearly, you guys know how to produce content. But how important is digital marketing as a discipline at Viacom?
It's hugely important. We've got a bit of a reputation in the industry as ones who relentlessly study our audience. And we wholeheartedly know, specifically from your earlier comments, that content can't live its own life where it should be living without the data sets behind it on which to figure out what next to do with that content, where to distribute it, how to market it, and what next to produce. So we've certainly taken the Kool-Aid there on the digital marketing suite. We've been plugged in with 400 plus digital properties across Site Catalyst. I feel like we have about a almost 10-year relationship together, and there's a lot of data flowing the sites through 80 plus million uniques.
And thank you for, again, for being here. So one of my observations that I wanted to hit you first on is it feels like a lot of the, in advertising technology, a lot of the innovation and the investment that the industry has made has been focused on the advertiser.
Right.
But on the other side of that, you have publishers who have this premium content, and they've struggled with the huge disparities of what's available, the optimization that you can do. So can you give me your thoughts on that?
Totally. You know, when you talk about the economics of monetizing screens, we still understand that the vast amount of major media is still being consumed on the television in terms of minutes per day. So TV is still king. We also understand, though, the PCs, mobile, and tablets are also there as complementary experiences and complementary screens we can harness. They're certainly not replacing the big screens. So we've actually taken a bit of or I've latched onto a strategy that really resonates with me around the best available screen is something that the consumer is going to want to engage in. So the best available screen for the specific use that they're looking for. So for example, you got a teenage girl who wants to run home from school with a bunch of her friends to go watch iCarly or Big Time Rush. If dad's sitting there on the couch, he's not going to be able to watch the big screen. PC and tablet are going to be just fine after that. If you want a more immersive experience with Snooki, let's say, maybe you want to have it on a tablet. So there's many other ways for audiences to get the content they want, but screens should be complementary together. So we're excited about that because on our publisher side, we need to come up with the next innovative concepts for these screens. And we also realize that for advertisers, that should be even more enticing when you think about users who are on the internet, are watching TV, or actually when you start watching or you're playing around on the internet, 50% of the people who are watching TV are also on the internet. So that's a Nielsen study that came out recently. The IAB also came out by saying recently that half the people right now who have seen one brand message on TV can probably replicate that brand message or recognize that brand message later. If you see it on multiple screens, more convergent way with multiple marketing messages that are intuitive to the consumer, they'll recognize that and appreciate the brand message that much more, almost up to 75%. So completely across the board, we're going big on convergence, and I think we can do better as an industry in that space.
Well, and you talk about convergence, and it's one of the things that I think the potential in digital is so different. And you think about what does an advertiser want in digital? The same premium brands to be in front of the audience, a more immersive experience,
Right.
and the ability to measure and segment. So, yet the display market seems to be in a constant state of commoditization.
Totally.
So, how are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah, not only are the same brands online and all these different screens, but the same audiences are there too. So I think we've got an advantage as a premium publisher that we can provide the premium experiences for the advertiser and the consumer with the reach and the scale that we know we've got across all of our digital properties and TV channels to come up with the right mix of advertising. So, in going back to the thought, we are, as a publisher, so excited to become accountable around the audiences that we said we're going to give you as you as an advertiser, that we've actually now just announced a big initiative this morning called Surround Sound, our cross-platform capabilities for advertisers.
So I saw the announcement. I think it's one of the most groundbreaking things that I've seen done in digital publishing anywhere. So take a minute or two, just share with the audience here what that is.
Yeah, sure. So, we make billions of dollars in TV ad revenue in offline formats, with all the different properties that you see up there on the wall. So we get calls from Madison Avenue for all things millennials, moms, kids, comedy lovers, film buffs. If you want sports, you'll probably call ESPN. Unless I can actually talk you into saying that RuPaul's drag race is actually a sport. I've tried that before. But you'll call ESPN, but at the end of the day, everybody else calls us for everything else, essentially. So we've done really well at coming up with the right programming mix for the right advertiser across our current properties. So you want politicos, men in their 20s who are politically active, we'll sell you Colbert Nation and Daily Show episodes, both on air and online. If you want moms, you can't do much better than Nick Jr., Parents Connect, and probably VH1. If you're looking for the film buffs, the people that are sitting outside right now, probably at movie theaters across the country waiting for the midnight showing of Hunger Games, you can absolutely do no wrong with Kids' Choice Awards and Movie Awards. So we've done really well at stitching that together as a programming mix, but there's a lot of money left on the table. Publishers and advertisers still have other audiences they can tap into. So we've actually now partnered with Adobe Audience Manager to surface those audience types specifically across each of our properties to find those politicos in the 20s who are active. For example, you don't have to be watching a Colbert Nation episode online to really be a Politico. We know who you are across our sites. You could be playing an addicting game on addictinggames.com or through our app. You could be trying to find what time the new Spike auction hunters are coming on tonight, so the live premiere at 9 o'clock. We know who you are. You can also be, trying to figure out what the next sort of episodes are going to be online for Jersey Shore. We also just announced that every single one of the cast members has re-signed, so get ready for season 6. That's going to come out and start shooting this summer. So we have a massive amount of data, specifically what you said earlier. There's so many signals that we've already derived, so we're very excited to stitch this together. So not only are we using our proprietary data, but also trusted industry partners with full privacy appreciation and compliance, to be able to surface those audience to the advertisers via premium targeted display, premium targeted video, email, and mobile.
And you think about, it's what advertisers want, it's what publishers are able to do.
Right.
We have a view at Adobe about being an independent technology platform, because we believe your data is your data, and we don't want to be out selling against you.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a great point. Going back to my first statement, we absolutely agree that content is our number one asset. Data is our very next, if not number 1A asset. And we want you guys as a platform partner to be laser focused on building a platform that's kick-ass and we can use, but not trying to develop new revenue streams, selling either our data or others' data. So that was one part of, we went through an RFP process and looked at the rest of the data management providers, the DMPs in the space. The second thing that really enticed us was, we already know what drives our business. We already know what segments we care about reporting against. So we already have that inside Catalyst. We've got 10 years almost of data that's flowing around here. So we started with the segments inside Catalyst, ported it over to Audience Manager, and now we're going to market. It was a very seamless process, and I think that really showed pretty great in the RFP.
So congratulations on surround sound. When are you guys out there, using this and driving the?
Today. So we were in beta with a couple partners early on, but now we're going big, and operators are standing by.
Josh, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thanks a lot.
So this is a perfect transition into our publishing solutions and our next demo. Adobe technologies enable the transition of video content from the big screen to a multi-screen content experience. Laptop, smartphones, and tablets, customizing both the content and the advertisements. This provides one integrated solution for publishers and gives them a tremendous competitive advantage to make more money through advertising-supported content. One such technology is Adobe Pass, a de facto standard for TV everywhere, which is the industry standard that brings publishers and distributors together to move video content through traditional IP. Publishers can remove the silos between on-air and online using Pass. This allows publishers like HBO to authenticate audiences who are accessing content through devices like the iPad. I'm a big fan of this. Taking it a step further, we can use the same data signals used in analytics to customize a digital experience in real time. This is exciting as you take into consideration the $200 billion in TV ad spend through traditional cable and what happens to it when we bring it over IP. It's a win for everyone. Publishers can make more money. We get access to the content that we want when we want it, on the device that we want to use. So Chris Robeson, who's my Senior Director of Product Management, another fellow cyclist, and a big fan and consumer of Dora the Explorer on multiple screens, will walk us through the next demo. Chris, come on out. How about
Thank you, Brad. First off, I want to congratulate Josh and the rest of the team at Viacom on their launch of surround sound. We can't be more pleased to be a part of that. It's great that publishers are now starting to take advantage of one of their most strategic assets, the data about their audience. I'm excited to share a demo today about how a publisher, XTV Media, is actively managing their data in order to create personalized user experiences. So as I land on the XTV homepage and view the CQ client context, we see that this is an anonymous user right now. This is because that most publishers, they don't require the user to log in order to view and access their content. But don't fear, XTV can still harness the power of audience data. The segments that we see listed here at the bottom, college student, new car shopper, gadget geek, these are all powered by Adobe Audience Manager, the product that was formerly known as DemDugs. This segment data is populated as each of us provides insight into our digital self. So for me, it's that I'm 40 years old, a cycling fanatic, as Brad mentioned, a cook, a father, and unfortunately for my children, also a frequent flyer. All of this data is collected and managed with a focus on consumer privacy. The data itself, it includes first-party data, data from Site Catalyst and Discover, second-party data from the strategic partners like advertisers, and third-party data that you may purchase from leading providers like an Axiom or an Exolate. XTV's revenue, it comes from selling advertising. One of their advertisers is our favorite high-adventure sports retailer, Geometrics. XTV created a specific segment, a custom segment called Outdoor Enthusiast, to meet Geometrics' exact needs. Watch in the bottom right-hand corner as I enable this segment. The ad placement dynamically changes to this targeted Geometrics ad focused on skiing. This makes both XTV and Geometrics more money. But that's not all. The power of the publisher story, it's about using these same audience segments to create many customized experiences. Right now on this homepage, it's not being tailored based upon the user's interest or their attributes. It's just the same for everyone. But by selecting female, for instance, and adding that to the profile of targeting, we now see the middle content column here change to recommended for you. These are things that are specific to a female audience related to content viewing patterns. We also see, if you'll note on the right side, our Geometrics ad is also updated. It's now moved to a female-specific content ad, still focused on skiing, based upon the information we know. Now let's change it again. Let's focus on male. Again, we see the content in the middle area, as well as the advertisement, updated in real time, based upon these audiences. This is pretty cool, right? This type of content targeting is driving additional user engagement, and that's so important to publishers. That each page view, every time you go to a new area, that generates new advertising opportunities. That means more revenue for XTV. To build on this engagement story, though, XTV is focused on social interactions. Given a centralized login via Facebook Connect, we can log in with a single click. We see that Allison Parker is opting in and allowing her information to be shared. So as we look at the client context again, we note that Allison Parker is a 23-year-old female. And also, we see additional areas of Audience Manager have been populated. We see she's a college student, a foodie, a gadget geek, and an outdoor enthusiast. But we've also enhanced the content experience that Allison has as she's going through this. As we scroll down, we see that her social interactions based upon her friends have been dynamically updated based upon this single login. These are the types of integrated experiences that publishers are offering today and that consumers demand. Both publishers and advertisers, they see video as the next big thing. In fact, many of them see it as the current big thing. Video consumption's moving from the big screens in your living room to portable screens everywhere, be it a laptop, tablet, phone. Adobe leads the space in these video solutions, from the creation to distribution to monetization. For instance, Adobe Pass, as Brad mentioned, it helps content creators manage access rights for premium content. So I might not be watching HBO, but while I'm actually sneaking off to look at basketball scores on my iPad, ESPN can validate my Comcast subscription prior to granting me access. Let's take a look at how we translate these same audience segments into embedded video ad experiences. XTV can now provide geometrics with a personal ad experience in video, all powered by Adobe's video ad solution, Auditude. Here we see 3 completely different users on 3 different devices. User 1 is a female, 28, who's into water sports. User 2, a male, 25, an outdoor enthusiast who lives in Colorado. And on user 3, we don't know exactly what gender they are, but we do know that they're a father or mother, and that they happen to be in their 40s. So we're now able to provide 3 different versions of this same geometrics ad that are delivered in real time based upon XTV's audience segments. As you can see, we've spent the last year focused on delivering integrated workflows that bring together data, content delivery, and advertising. This demo actually has technology from 6 different Adobe products. We're excited to continue to help publishers take control of their audience data in order to deliver better consumer and advertiser experiences. Thank you. I'll hand it back to you, Brad.
So just as Chris illustrated, Adobe's publishing solution connects publishers with the data that matters so that they can deliver the right content to the right audience in real time. Adobe is focused on connecting the digital world and making it more simple for publishers. It's been a little bit of a long day. We're almost done. Next, I want to move to one of the most exciting announcements that we have for the day, and that is social. Social's been an ongoing concern for marketers everywhere. As they want to reach their consumers, their customers on social, they're just not sure how to do it and what the true business impact of their social marketing efforts are. Adobe is focused on helping you take control of this channel to engage and to drive. And because we have an evolved system of data and content and management, we can tie that directly to social marketing. So today, I'm excited to announce the availability of Adobe Social. This is the evolution of the Adobe Digital Marketing Suite within the social realm. This is the first and only solution to seamlessly capture the entire social workflow into a single platform. It helps marketers manage social campaigns like never before, social advertising, social engagement and moderation, and social analytics. This is the most flexible application builder on the market, and it has integrated campaign tracking built directly into the product. It's the first social media marketing tool to combine content creation and page publishing with social advertising. Adobe Social takes the complexity out of social publishing and advertising. To show how this comes together is my senior product manager, Jeff Jordan. He dreams in 140 characters or less, and he's a rap fan. Come on out, Jeff. Okay, go for it.
All right, thanks, Brad. Okay, we're going to get started with Geometrics Outdoors, that venerable outdoor retailer that we've all come to know and love over the past hour or so. And Geometrics, as you can see, they're wrapping up their winter marketing season with a series of messages and a campaign focused on their winter sports merchandise. Now, Geometrics Outdoors is focusing on social media in this campaign, and they have content on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, but today we're going to focus in on 3 elements of their social marketing campaign. First, an application or a sweepstakes on Facebook. Second, a series of posts designed to drive people to that campaign or to drive people to that sweepstakes. And finally, some advertising encouraging the social community to register on Facebook to win a free bike. So, as always, our story is going to begin with data. Let's jump into the social overview report, where here I can see a handful of the 100+ metrics that are available in Adobe Social to help you amplify and expand the reach of your social campaigns. For instance, here I can see a summary of my Facebook activity, some high-level metrics. Down here I can see a list of my competitors, some benchmarking data, so I can see how well I'm doing relative to them on the social web. I can also see a set of influential posts that have come in from people on the social web who have significant followings. So as I jump up here to these trends, the first thing that pops out to me is the fact that there's been a unique spike in mentions over the past few days. Now, this is fantastic, but of course the first question that pops into my mind is, how does all of this relate to revenue, and how does it drive business to my bottom line? And fortunately, because Adobe Social is natively integrated with the digital marketing suite, I have my revenue metrics right here. So unfortunately, it looks like despite this increase in mentions, my revenues remain relatively flat. So that's kind of a bummer. Let's dig down a little bit deeper. Here in my popular terms word cloud, I can see a set of terms and trends that are related or being used in the conversations about geometrics outdoors on the social web. So not surprisingly, I can see snowboard here in the conversation is popping up a lot. Snow is coming up quite a bit. But the thing that's really interesting here is that I can see spring and warmer, bike, jeeping. So the conversation on the social web related to geometrics outdoors is starting to swing over to a warm weather climate. So this data tells me that I have an opportunity now to optimize my social campaign to match that warm weather conversation. Now, if I were using a standalone social monitoring tool, I'd have to log out and log into another product in order to do anything with this data. But fortunately, with Adobe Social, everything's here. So data actionability is only a click away. So we'll get started with that sweepstakes first, right? And we remember our conversation is kind of swinging to warmer weather sports. So what I've done is I've created a sweepstakes inviting our customers to log into Facebook and win a free bike. And creating an application like this one is pretty easy inside of Adobe Social. All I need to do is drag and drop content from my desktop down here onto the screen, and we're in business. And it doesn't matter if I want to create something using a ready-made template like this one for a quick start, or if I want to start from scratch with something completely custom, I can do it. Adobe Social will flex according to my unique marketing campaigns. And I can also create unique targeted experience based on segments of data in the digital marketing suite. So for instance, here I can toggle back and forth and see what my customers in Japan will see when they log into Facebook and enter to win the sweepstakes versus what my customers in the US will see. It's pretty cool. And actually, every single widget or post or link that I create using Adobe Social is natively integrated with our analytics platform. So the hassle of having to chase down the dev team and convince them to put tracking code on your content is a thing of the past. And now every single interaction with this application or the sweepstakes is going to be recorded and passed into the digital marketing suite so that I can tie it to revenue and use it across products in the suite. So stepping back here, what we've just seen is an integration of robust analytics, social media monitoring, and a robust app builder that's flexible. Now, there's literally nothing like this on the marketplace today, and if I stop my demo right now, I would fully expect all of you to rise to your feet in a standing ovation, perhaps hugs from social marketers afterwards, drinks tonight, I would expect adulation. But the cool thing is that we're just getting started here, right? Let's move on to the publishing. So we talked about how we were going to create a few posts to invite people to come and check out this sweepstakes. So I can do that here, and I can choose which platform I want to get started with. We'll start with Facebook. And over here in this right-hand side of the screen, I can see a preview of what I'm going to publish when my customers see it. So it's really easy for me to visualize what they're going to see as when it goes live on Facebook. So now we've associated a link with this. We're going to give that link a name. And then we're going to schedule this to be published a little bit later. We'll say we'll publish it today at 12:50. And I can create as many posts as I want to be scheduled at various times as the campaign rolls out. The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to select a campaign to associate this link with. So by doing that, I'm ensuring that every single interaction with this link and the downstream effect of that interaction will be passed into the digital marketing suite so that I can tie this campaign to revenue, and I can use that data across the suite for targeting and optimization and segmentation. So we've got our Facebook message ready here. I've already duplicated it in Twitter, where we have a link here to that application that we created, as well as Google+, except in Google+, I'm going to target this message to my VIP circles. I want to make them feel really special about getting this unique offer. So I think we're ready to go here. We can hit publish and check out our handiwork here on Facebook as we fast forward a week into our campaign, or to later today at 12:50. Here we have a simple message. We can click through. It's going to take us to that beautiful application that we just created where our customers can enter and win. It's pretty cool, right? Right? Yeah, it's cool. Now, this is great, but Adobe Social isn't just about page management and measurement. It's about amplifying the reach of your marketing campaigns by leveraging new, innovative ad formats on the Facebook platform called sponsored stories. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what a sponsored story is, a sponsored story amplifies the reach of your posts by taking a message or a Facebook wall post that may or may not be seen by your community and displaying it prominently on the right-hand side of your newsfeed or within the newsfeed itself. Now, sponsored stories have become a central part and a critical part of every social marketing campaign, and of course, Adobe Social is the first product to bring sponsored stories into its workflows. And so let me show you what that looks like. So what I have here is a set of posts that have been scheduled to be published, and I've chosen to turn one of these posts into a sponsored story where it will be displayed more prominently than other stories that I publish to Facebook. So I can see a real-time preview of what this ad is going to look like. I've given it a name, and currently it's targeted to people who live in the United States who already have liked the Geometrics Outdoor Facebook page. So that's great, but we've got some work to do with our social marketing, and it's only targeted to 40 people. But that's not a problem because I can use segments in the digital marketing suite to target this message to people who are friends of those who are fans of the Geometrics Outdoors page. And just like that, we've expanded the reach of this message or this sponsored story by over 100x, right? So now I just send the ad to be approved by Facebook, and we're off and running. So let's fast forward a week, and we'll see how our campaign is done. As I log into my overview report, I can see that fortunately, it looks like revenue has increased as our conversation has become more relevant to our social community. I can see that the term sweepstakes has popped up in our word clouds, so the message is resonating as people talk about Geometrics Outdoors. And perhaps most importantly, as I look at all of the campaigns that I have running right now, I see that I have a really productive campaign in this sweepstakes that I'm running. I've created over $140,000 in revenue in the first few days of running this campaign. I've tied it all back. So there you have it, Adobe Social. Social marketing, management, measurement, app building, engagement, all in a single product. But the cool thing is that we've only touched on 3 screens in the product. There are literally dozens more reports and features that are designed to help you take your social marketing to the next level. So later today, in section 604 at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a breakout session where Craig Stowe, our Director of Social Product Management, is going to deep dive into this thing and blow your minds with all the other features that it brings to bear. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you, and we appreciate your time today. Thanks. Thanks, man.
Social is an integral piece of everything that we're doing in the digital marketing suite. And as more opportunities for you to engage with your customers in social emerge, so will the solution. You'll need evolving solutions if social is going to bust out of a silo and be part of a broader digital marketing platform. And we'll be there to meet those needs. With this news, Adobe claims a top spot in the market for providing powerful solutions in social. And we're just getting started. Social is a unique space. It's still relatively young, and it's seeing real-time growth and real-time revelations in terms of what's happening next. The opportunities are massive. We know that. We've invited Facebook to the stage to help us understand what they're doing to continue to shift their platform to help marketers engage. We have Grady Burnett, who's Vice President of Global Marketing Solutions at Facebook. Grady drives global sales, account management, and customer service, and guides product and marketing priorities for Facebook. Grady is a former pro tennis player, and he jumped from Google to help Facebook continue to drive this future and unique perspective of how business comes together. So join me in welcoming Grady to the stage.
Thanks, Brad.
There you go.
I want to say thank you to Brad and to Adobe for having us here today. We've had a long-running relationship with Omniture. We've had a long-running relationship with David Karnstedt and Anil at Efficient Frontier and with Kevin at Context Optional. And really excited to see the evolution of Adobe Social and what this company is doing to help surface and help people understand this new form of marketing and what it can do for your brand. So today I'm here to talk a little bit more about Facebook and why we believe businesses are better in a connected world. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. To start, I thought it'd be useful to back up. In most of our frame of reference for Facebook is in a personal relationship, right? So thinking about the value of that relationship, we each have these individual anecdotes. So for me, I was traveling with my family in Lake Tahoe a few weeks ago, and my mom posted, one of the first times she's done it, she actually checked into a location where we were having where we were at a restaurant, and a friend that she hadn't seen for 10 years saw that post, was also in Tahoe, and we ended up connecting and having dinner with them that night. And it was just a really amazing opportunity to connect with somebody that I hadn't seen since I was, probably 5, 6, 8 years old, and someone that we hadn't connected with. My mom and dad were friends with on Facebook, but had not had that deep relationship. So the same happened recently. As Brad mentioned, I played professional tennis for a few years, and in that time, it was before really the web took off. We didn't really use email, and we didn't really have cell phones that we used at scale. And as a result, I don't have great ties to a lot of my friends from that, and they live all over the world. And a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine, Claudio Pistolesi, who was a great tennis player from Italy, reached out and found me on Facebook, and we're reconnected, and that's enabled me to connect to a whole bunch of other people that I'd completely lost track of over the years. It's a really enriching and fulfilling experience. So we're trying to figure out now is what we're starting to see people do and really evolve is really starting to bring that value and bring those personal stories to the business world, where it's really starting to transform and give businesses an ability to grow and understand their customers in ways that they never have before. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the evolution of the platform and how businesses are really driving that growth. So with that, I think it's important to do that by backing up for a minute. So if you think about the world, this is a shopkeeper. Let's imagine this is 120 years ago. Right? In that time, very mercantile-driven experience where we lived in the same location as all of our friends and all of our family. We shopped at the same location. I bought everything, whether it was a razor blade or whether it was something for the kitchen, a new appliance. I bought it from this guy, and he knew what I cared about and knew what my friends cared about, and as a result, could really guide me in that world. Over the years since then, technology, the evolution of planes, trains, automobiles, a whole bunch of different things have taken us all over the world and allowed us to do so many different things that are so transformative. But what it did lose for a long time is that personal touch, that personal connection, that human connection that you had with somebody in your community. And that's a lot of what Brad talked about in the opening is this expression of our digital selves and really bringing our true identity. No longer am I just G. Byrne Tennis, at AOL or somewhere else. I am actually Grady Burnett. I have 3 kids. I live in Menlo Park. I like these things. I attended the University of Michigan, and I'm passionate about skiing. Right? And I love to shop and eat Sunday nights at this restaurant, Juban, in Menlo Park, California. Right? It knows that about me, and I'm happy to share that. And because of that, my opportunity to engage and be connected with the business is at a completely different place than it was before. So that human connection is there. So that evolution has happened not only through technology, but also if you look at it through the eyes of a marketer. So we can look at Gillette, for instance. So this is Gillette. This is King Camp Gillette. It's probably 1903. In 1915, he changed that experience or helped to change that experience with my shopkeeper. In 1915, he was selling 70 million units a year of a safety razor. Everything else before that was something completely different. He understood the power of scale and the power of advertising at a different level than most people did, and as a result, really transformed how we actually interact and how we buy and where we do that from. And with that, we started to move around the world. If you fast forward to today, that relationship with Gillette is somewhat going back to the future. It's coming back and bringing those elements of that shopkeeper. They've got 600 million people using their products every day, and they've got 1 million fans on Facebook. Those 1 million fans have 150 million friends on Facebook. So they have an opportunity with their page to interact and share stories and listen and communicate with their consumers, take product ideas, take customer service queries, and really fundamentally grow their business. And more than anything, market through the voice of their friends rather than only through the voice of their brand. So if we look at that, this business world, in this connected world, there's an opportunity to do what we as marketers have always wanted to do, to have a two-way dialogue, not just a tops-down communication and a strategy to bring in new customers, but actually to engage and drive an enriching experience for a consumer and drive a new direction and new hope and new promise and new growth for that company. So if you think about the examples here where, Starbucks, for instance, their goal is to make sure that when you have an experience online, that it matches the experience you feel in the store. And they have an opportunity to do that. With their 20+ million fans, they connect and engage and share new store opportunities and make sure that if there is a free pastry day or something else or a new coffee they're launching, that you can actually feel that and experience it and have that connection to it in a way that you also felt in the store. So it really mirrors that online experience. The online mirrors the offline experience in that case. And it lets you tell your story about this business, and the business can then tell you and the business can tell this story together. You can tell it through your friends. And it's this personal connection that really is starting to drive new opportunities and new growth for these customers. So at Facebook, we really believe that experiences with brands should be and can be as good or better than the interactions we have with our friends. Right? That's the goal. We want that for all of our advertising, all of the interaction, all of the publishing that you do on a page to be as good and as high a quality as what my friend or my family just posted. That's a hugely high bar, but because of the opportunity to connect with people and to publish and get feedback real time, there's a real opportunity to do that. And because of that, businesses have a great opportunity to grow. If somebody's equally excited about that message that I'm offering as a company than my friends, I'm going to be more willing to share it, and I'm, as a result, going to be able to drive more business because of it. So if we look at this on how this is happening, this is a friend, this is Andy Sparks' wall. He's going through, looking through his news feed and basically seeing all the different things that are happening. But within that, it's not just the picnic with his friends, it's actually different things that are happening. So 1-800-Flowers with a special, or a friend talking about the run they just had using Nike Sync. These interactions can be really transformative and meaningful to a person. So they help them do something, remind them of an event they need to buy flowers for, or it can help them understand how a friend is transforming their lives through working out. So I'll talk a little bit about last fall we changed our profile to something we call Timeline, which really allows me to express a rich sort of version of my identity. So it's not just that here are the things I did latest, but it's actually talking about what I did, and it allows me to tell a story that, I went to my first concert in 1983 and saw Madonna, right? And it allows me, went there with my sister and my dad. Dad did not like it as much as my sister and I did, but it allows me to tell that story and really give a rich version of who I am and what I care about and display that in a meaningful and visual way. And I can talk about different things and compliment people on the team that have done amazing things or won awards recently. In this case, I'm posting a picture of my favorite deli in Ann Arbor, Michigan called Zingerman's. Right? Zingerman's is an amazing deli. My friend for my birthday recently shipped me something from there where I had a sandwich at home, and it was a great experience. Not only do I post that, but I post it and you see the comments of my friends. So you're a good man, Peter, whoever you are. So there's another friend that didn't know another friend of mine and just is valuing, she understands how important Zingerman's is to me. Or this other person saying that I look at this photo and I weep. Zingerman's, I miss you. And a few friends I talked to also ordered food from them that day. Right? It's something that's pretty powerful. So what we did recently is launch this opportunity for brands, basically transformed our pages. This is about 2 weeks ago, and gave the opportunity for brands to drive this equally rich and complete version of their story. And now you see that everything you're doing on Facebook stems from that page. So this is really mission control for what you're actually setting up. Everything on Facebook starts with what you're doing on your page, how you're communicating and interacting with your customers. And you can express your identity with a picture. So this is Ben & Jerry's showing their iconic picture of their brand that you see everywhere. You're reaching your audience, so it shows the ability, you've got 3.7 million people that are connected to this, and responding in a personal way. So people posting and having an interaction engagement and an ability to respond publicly to that or respond privately if there's a question about customer service that you want to answer. And it allows you also to really see what's happening and post new content that then can be turned into advertising. So start with content that's rich and connected to who you are, so talking about this new flavor, and then that can be transformed into advertising on a number of different pages within the site. So in this world, ads become stories. So when a brand gets the rich experience, their history, and a consistent content message that builds on that story and enriches what they're doing, the opportunity is not just to advertise. The opportunity is to tell a story, and not only tell that story yourselves, but for your friends to tell it for you. Right? So this is something where our goal as advertisers on Facebook is to inspire somebody to augment and share my message in their own voice. Right? So the fact that I had a great experience eating at Juban in Menlo Park, the fact that I actually go out there and say, hey, I had this great experience eating it, that can become an ad for these guys and can only be shown to my friends. My friends may have seen it in their news feed, but there's a lot that happens there, so this gives you an opportunity to distribute that and put that right on the right side of the page. So this is a world where brands can really embrace content from their friends. And they can share these at an unprecedented scale. This is something where we're doing this, and it's a word of mouth at an unprecedented scale, where people are sharing these ideas, sharing these success stories, sharing their commentary with everybody they want to talk to. And that's enabling companies to develop new relationships and to grow their base of fans, grow their revenue, grow their understanding of their opportunity. And they can do this in a number of ways on Facebook. So historically, that was just in just ad placements just on the desktop. Now we're showing here that this is actually starting with a page post on your site, on your page, and then advertising on the right-hand side, advertising on the news feed, and advertising within the news feed and on the mobile device. So actually being in that experience and being in that discussion with all the other conversations from your friends. Something we launched 2 weeks ago, just out there, but tremendously powerful way to be in front of your fans, their friends, and in a way where they're willing to interact, engage, and purchase and help grow. So finally, I'll talk about the world of applications. So we talk about this open graph that we launched last year. And with that, there are opportunities to build applications and drive even richer experiences that are connected to somebody's timeline. So if you can earn this place on someone's timeline, it's the ultimate expression of their identity. So in this case, it's a picture. This is the Nike Plus app. So I don't know how many people have used this, but what it allows you to do is allows you to track all of your runs. So this is a run I did in Central Park and looking through there. And you can map all these, and it can give you a report at the end of the month on what you've actually done. And what you can imagine here is amazing. I can imagine my kids running this same route, 5 years from now. I can imagine my two kids competing with each other and understanding how they did this route, or sharing this with a friend and inspiring a connection in a different way. So, and it's a really true connection to what we actually care about, what we do every day, and this is a great experience of this. We've seen great examples in the food space as well, where people are very passionate about cooking. So to summarize, I just want to talk about, it's not just reach, which is tremendously powerful and available. It's not just clicks, but it's actually building and cultivating these essential relationships that bring the human connection and bring that connection between a brand and a consumer to a new level that allows you to grow your business and understand your customer in a completely different way. And it allows that consumer to feel like they actually matter to you as a business in a way that they haven't before. So with that, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm going to have Brad come back out on stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Grady. So a couple questions for you. So I know you guys are in your quiet period, but let's talk about the IPO. Actually, the one question I have is, I heard it worked out well for someone, but are you guys hiring any new graffiti artists?
Not at this time.
Okay.
We do a lot of our own graffiti, though.
The one question I do have for you on the presentation, and we've got lots of brands in the room. We talked about that earlier, people from 15 industries. But can you share with us a few examples of people that you've seen that are doing social well?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think American Express is a company that's done an incredible job on building social. What they've done is they've really transformed loyalty in a whole bunch of other areas. If you look at they built an application called Link Like Love, which basically allows you to go into a Facebook application, connect your Amex card, and then immediately look for programs and offerings and things like that that can be offered from thousands of companies who are pulling from your interests. So you actually have something that I'm interested in, that I need, that is being surfaced to me that I can get a discount on without a coupon, and thousands of businesses can participate in that, and me as a consumer can really go to another level. They've also done something called Small Business Saturday, which they had you had Cyber Monday, and you had Black Friday, and they said, hey, this is leaving out the small local business. And they created an amazing opportunity. It was a movement within a few years, and the opening basically uplift in total retail was just astounding.
And I think you guys talked about this at your FMC event.
Yep.
Okay.
And AT&T is another great example. So AT&T is one where we've got 100 million customers. They basically have organized a team that goes through and looks at Facebook across their brand, digital, and either customer service teams and everybody. They meet every week to understand what's happening and what's being discussed on Facebook, and they change their message and they change what they're doing on the page because of that. They're seeing 2x improvement, or 2x better performance versus online and offline campaigns on Facebook because of understanding that customer. They've inspired people that now do their customer service just on their own. So they've got a group called the Wolf Pack that literally augments the 20 people they have answering questions every day. And they do this, and these guys basically jump in, answer questions for them just because they're so passionate and inspired about the brand. So there's a number of examples of companies that are doing that, large and small. It's a small company called Squishable out of New York that basically has, they do all their product design, and they're basically a small company that does stuffed animals. And they say, hey, should we launch an elephant or a narwhal next? Should it be red or blue? And they'll get that, and then they'll
decisions that impact lives.
Big life decisions. And then they'll actually offer those discounts back to those people, so they inspire loyalty at a level that we've not seen before. So lots of different examples across a range of categories, small and large. But Amex and AT&T and Squishable are three that I'd highlight.
Great. Grady, thank you. Thanks, you for
Brad.
joining us.
Appreciate it.
So social has played a unique role. It's helping us think about how we engage with our customers better. Time will only tell what we're talking about around social at Summit 2013. So now we've covered personalized engagement, advertising, publishing, and social. These are the areas where we believe you can impact your businesses today using Adobe solutions. For this last session, I have saved the best for last. I've asked Kevin Lynch, Adobe's CTO, who drives our technology vision, who helps us to shine a light on where we're headed next. And now you're going to see Kevin, and he is almost as famous as his dog Finnegan, who has been spotted everywhere from Adobe videos to demos. Finnegan has been on television, on the big board at Times Square. And like Finnegan, Kevin is very unique. And you're going to notice when he comes out, he has a very specific accent. I call it the accent of genius. So here's Kevin.
Thank you very much. Nice introduction. So it's very exciting to be with all of you here. I am thrilled to be working on digital marketing, and we are really focused at Adobe on both the digital media space and the digital marketing space. And both of these are major disruptions that are happening, powered by cloud, by mobile, by social. Shantanu was saying everyone needs to really focus on what do those trends mean for you, and we're doing that at Adobe, and we're really transforming our businesses around all three of these. If we look in the digital media space, we're focused on something called Creative Cloud. And this is really something that I was working on for a while with the digital media teams, and a very exciting project that has resulted in this Creative Cloud offering that's coming out, and it has a combination of touch-enabled creative apps, a whole new generation of applications, a bunch of cloud-hosted services, creative suite tools like Photoshop and InDesign that are cloud-connected, and a creative community that we're bringing together in Creative Cloud. So this is really a reimagining of the creative process and a transformation for Adobe of our business in the creative space, which is about $3 billion. So major endeavor for us. Now I'm really moving my focus to digital marketing, and this is, I'm learning a lot. I've been working a lot with the teams as we've been bringing them in with Omniture and most recently Efficient Frontier, Day with CQ. We've really assembled a world-class team of people around the digital marketing suite space, and some amazing work that's happening there already. And we have a major cloud service running, of course, already. It's about 6 trillion transactions a year running through this service in the cloud. There's petabytes of data that we're storing for all of you and helping to do personalized campaigns for people. So really, it's a well-established service. So how can I really help on that? And as I've been working with the team, something that I've really started to focus on is how can we enable you to collaborate more and share the insights that you're getting across this really broad and deep set of software that we have, share them with each other in your teams, and then also collaborate with your creative teams across Creative Cloud and your digital marketing efforts as these really come together. And of course, embracing touch and social in our work as much as we have cloud. So we've put together a bit of a vision of where we're going along these lines that really has emerged out of the teams here, and I'd like to share that with you now. So let's take a look at where we're headed here with a digital marketing suite. And I'm going to use some fictional data in my example, and I'd like to thank Audi for letting me use some great pictures of their cars that I'm going to be showing here. And what we have is a tablet, and so we've got here running on an iPad a dashboard, and you can see it's a dashboard that's very interactive. I can use my finger, of course, to go and look at the different segments in the dashboard and the different panels here. If we switch to the other feed, you can get an even better look at it there. So we've got a direct feed out as well. So here are a bunch of cards that are being shared across the teams with different insights that you might be having as you're doing your work, whether it's digital marketing insights or it's creative work that's happening. And you can see I can be tracking my different campaign performance, the sites that I'm managing, and each person will have their own collection of these cards that you may be watching depending on what your role is in your work. So here I'm playing a campaign manager here, so I've got a bunch of campaigns going. And I can see that my campaign here for the S series is not converting as well as I like. So I can actually go into these and see what's going on. So I'll tap on that card, and it takes me to the campaign view, showing me what that campaign is and how it's performing. So here's a number of assets that are being used in the campaign, really bringing together the creative work with the insights and the data. And we also have a view of the spend model and the outlook of how that campaign's been performing. And you can see we've got our actual performance here in the blue line, and then the forecast is above that. So we're not quite hitting the forecast right now with our efforts on this. And you can see also the activities across the 3 digital channels I'm managing for this particular campaign: search, social, and display, and the customer segments that I'm targeting for each of those, as you saw earlier in the day here. So I can actually adjust this. So if I want to play with my spend here and see if I reallocate my spend, maybe it can affect the results a little bit. I can do that dynamically. So we actually have some modeling technology that lets you manipulate just by dragging around your spend allocation here, and you can see how that might affect your projected results. So I can actually increase my display spend or my social spend. You can see it increases projected a little bit, but it doesn't quite get above my forecast. So let's add some more investment in my budget here. And like you saw earlier, we've got technology that enables you to actually calculate what the projected results will be even on increased spend and recommend balances of those as well. But even using all of that, I'm still not quite getting to what I'd like to be at in terms of my project here. So I'm going to do some out-of-the-box thinking. And one of the great things you can do here, of course, is invent some new concept that might get more people interested in what you're doing. So I can go over to my team here who's been working on this campaign. You can see some of the marketing team members who are working with me on this. And I can add a new team member to the project. So I'm going to use my little directory here, and I'm going to bring up designer I like working with, Karina. And I'm going to add her now to the design team, so you can see she's now part of this campaign's team. And we have a shared directory where the assets are stored that the team's been working on for a while, and Karina will now have access to those assets as well when I share this with her. And that will appear in her Creative Cloud view as she's working with us on this project. So let's bring up Karina to work with me here a little bit on this project. So please welcome Karina. Thank you for joining me.
Hi.
So let's see if we can have a better ad to run through this campaign.
Of course we will. I'm really excited to be able to share with you this new space where I can interact with marketeers, everyone else on my team, designers, because at the end of the day, behind every good marketer is an amazing creative director. So in this space right here, you can see these are the projects and campaigns that I'm working on. So I'm going to go over to the Audi campaign. This is where Kevin and I have been collaborating. These are all the files that are part of this campaign. He wants me to make this ad more engaging, so I'm going to click on the Photoshop file. So this is actually a Photoshop file in the cloud. And as you can see, the great UI designers have added this awesome little button. Click that. I'm launching it directly into Photoshop. That's insane.
That's cool.
And what's really cool for me, and a little sneak for you, is this is the new UI for Photoshop CS6. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm actually more thrilled about this in the car. So it's really awesome. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add something to pump it up a little bit. Kevin actually gave me a great idea. He said he would like it to be cool. So sure enough, I'm going to take his word on that one. I'm going to put a big C here. I'm going to say that looks good. I'm going to add an L over here. That looks great. Check. Looks good. I'm going to select both of these text layers. I'm going to add a cool style. Look at that. Pretty good.
Nice.
I think one more thing I want to add is maybe a little tagline. Make it a little bit more exciting. Let me fix my font. And how about truth in engineering? Oh, see, I design things, I don't spell things. Select that. We're all set. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to File, Save. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to go back to the cloud. And really fast, you didn't see it maybe, but it uploaded to the cloud. I'm going to refresh, and there we go. Now the next step I have to do, I have to share with Kevin so he can comment, tell me he loves it. So I'm going to select the share button, click on the Photoshop file, send it off to him, maybe with a little tagline here said, oops, again, typing problems, added my magic touch. All right, sending it off to him, see if he likes it.
Okay. Thank you, Karina. So Karina's working right now in creative.adobe.com, which is the Creative Cloud's website. So if we go back and look at my display on my tablet here, I'm at marketing.adobe.com, and I can see things coming in on my activity stream. So these are things that the team may be sharing with me, whether it's social insights or it's new creative work that's coming by. The whole team can participate in this way and see what's happening. And so you can see I got this message here from Karina, and I can look at this asset if I want to right here from my marketing dashboard. I can see it and look at the great work that she's been doing on this new ad. It is really cool. And if Audi would like to use the ad, you're welcome to do that. And I can annotate this too. So if I want to make a comment on that, I can just circle part of it right here in place. And I can say, please make a new tagline. All right, and now I'm going to share that back with Karina. So just by making these comments, other team members can make comments as well. And then back on Karina's display, we can see what's going on.
So back on my display, I'm back in my project folders. All I have to do is refresh my cloud space, and I see this little red tag. Maybe Kevin has a comment. Maybe he wants to tell me he's in love with it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. I'm going to click on the source file again, launch it directly into Photoshop. Oh, I love that feature. And then what I'm going to do is click twice on this and add finally has meaning. I'm going to save it, close it, go back to my cloud. See if it'll update.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Let me try that one more time just for fun, and we can all do it again. Update. Click that. Finally has meaning. Save. Close. Back to cloud.
Great.
Refresh.
Thank you very
There we
much,
go.
Karina. Great
Thank
work.
you.
Beautiful work. Thank you very much. So that's really fast to be able to work with your creative agency, whether they're inside your organization or an outside agency. You can collaborate now across teams like that really quickly. And we're going to run this ad now for a while. So of course, we're going to run it on Geometrics. It looks like an up-and-comer, at least this morning. So we've got our Audi ad running there. And so later, we can now see how this new ad's been performing. So I'm going to switch over to someone else's iPad here. So I'm going to grab Sally's iPad, who does social marketing for us. Let me put that up here. And we have here now, of course, some different displays because she's looking at some different things as a social marketer. And you can customize this however you want with the information that you're following across the digital marketing suite. So she's following a lot of social trends, of course. And if I look at what's going on here in Sally's stream, you can look at the social analytics performance. It looks like there's some interesting things going on there. And this is a display of how that campaign's doing across social. And so you can see the different reach of the conversation across different social networks. If I want to, I can read some of the sample content that's coming through across them. I can drill into these different segments, like, for example, Twitter here, and see what's going on there with the conversation. And it's bringing in data here, both a chart of what's happening with the conversation, as well as a word cloud and some sample tweets. And one of the things what's really great here is that you can actually associate the social conversation with business metrics. So in this case, we've picked sales leads as the main thing we're trying to influence. And we can actually see a bit of a correlation here between sales leads and the conversation on Twitter, which is interesting. And in fact, if we want to see what's happening over time, you're actually able to drag your finger along this trend line, and you can go back in time, and you can see what people were talking about and what the major words were they were discussing in the word cloud below. So this is something that's kind of difficult to do right now. You know, today you can look at what people are currently saying, but this way you can kind of roll back time and see what they were saying at an interesting point in the tracking that you've been doing. In this case, we can see that touchscreen is something that people have been talking about a lot. And if I want, I can go look at one of the sample links here and load a page that's been discussing it so I can get an idea of what they're saying. And so this is an Engadget article that ran about the touchscreen in the Audi cars. So seeing that trending now in the social networks, I might want to do something about that. I might want to let my team know that that's happening. And so what we can do from all these different points in the dashboard is share with others. So across all of Digital Marketing Suite, you'll be able to share as well as here in the dashboard. And so here I can decide to share this with the rest of my team. And I'll pick the pieces I want to share, the chart and this word cloud. And I can even annotate these, much like I can annotate the content. I can just circle part of that and say, looks like touch screens are trending. So I can let the rest of my team know that that's happening. So let me share that little annotation. And of course, that's going to go out in that same activity feed that I was showing you a moment ago. And if I go back and look at my own iPad here, you can see it coming in on my iPad as well, loading in some updates. The comment I had made to Karina, as well as the touchscreens are trending comment that Sally just made on her tablet. And so your team can really easily share this information with each other and look at it and act on it. You can have a little conversation now. A little community can form around this insight. I can make some comments here. Other people can do that. And you can really start figuring out what this means and what you should do about it. And in fact, if I'm really interested in this, one of the great things you'll be able to do is grab any of these cards that are coming by in the activity feed and save them. So I can grab this card and I can drag it down to my own dashboard and put it here. And now I'll be able to watch that even though the activities keep coming by. I now have a persistent view on that particular trend, and I can keep watching the live data and see how that's performing over time. And of course, when I get tired of it, I can throw it away and put something else on my dashboard. So this is where we're heading. I can keep acting on this data. I can keep getting these insights, and this is the future of how the interaction will be in Digital Marketing Suite. What do you think? So it's a very exciting time for the teams to be working on this stuff. There's a lot of deep work happening across all Digital Marketing Suite, as well as a lot of great innovation happening on the user experience across the products, and now with this new user interface we're working on across the tools. So you can get going now, of course, with Digital Marketing Suite. Creative Cloud is coming out shortly. These will be working together, as you saw here, with our direction, and you're going to get more detail about this at MAX in October. Thank you very much. Have a great conference.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. It's pure genius. I want to leave with a few thoughts. Marketing today is about a series of real-time right nows. It must consider the digital self because it's those small things that bring big meaning. What we watch, what we join, what we share, what we know, what we buy, where we go, our likes and dislikes. These are not random acts and facts. They are self-defining choices with meaning. The promise of the digital self means that we bring data, content, and optimization together. Are we listening? Can we read the signals? Can we map the patterns? If so, it changes everything. Thank you. So I actually should say, it doesn't quite change everything. You still have to pay taxes, and Foster the People will be the entertainment tonight. Have a great summit, everybody.